Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject I think is going to help you. And it's the problem of vacillation. That's a great word, but probably one you almost never hear. And so today's talk is about why we keep changing our minds, the psychology, the philosophy, and the problem of vacillation. Changing our minds, flip-flopping, waffling. You've heard those terms before. So have you ever found yourself saying yes to something one day, then completely backing out the next day? Or making a plan you're excited about, only to feel unsure or even opposed to it just 24 hours later? This pattern of flip-flopping, of constantly changing your position, your mood, your intentions. Here's some key psychological concepts in literature. I've got just a few points here, just to give you some direction if you want to, on your own, get into that more depth. So indecisiveness as a personality trait. Psychological research recognizes indecisiveness as a stable trait for some individuals. Indecisive people often struggle with making choices, experience anxiety about decisions, and may regret or reverse their choices frequently. The trait is linked to lower self-esteem and higher levels of neuroticism, as well as difficulties in goal pursuit and life satisfaction. Lower self-esteem, that's interesting. This trait of indecisiveness is linked to lower Makes sense, lower self-esteem. You're not happy with yourself when this happens. And you know the people that are affected aren't happy about it, aren't happy with you. That makes sense. Higher levels of neuroticism, difficulties in goal pursuit and life satisfaction. Definitely makes sense. The next point, self-consistency and trust. So consistency in behavior and decision-making is foundational for building trust. You know that, both in oneself and in social relationships. We not only want to build trust and need to build trust between others, right? Trust for them, they trust us, but also in oneself. You have to be able to trust yourself. That's a big thing, because if you don't trust yourself, then you won't be able to believe the decisions you're making, the stands you're taking. You won't trust yourself. And conversely, when you stick to your word, when you stick to the decisions you make, the actions you take, and not just sticking with them, but feeling good about them, and standing firm with those as the time moves on, that kind of really buttresses or strengthens your trust in yourself and your decision making. You know, when you make a decision, you feel good about it. It's going to be enduring, and people will know that too. So there's a Leon Festinger's theory here related to self-consistency and trust. Cognitive dissonance highlights the discomfort between people feel when their actions are inconsistent with their beliefs or previous behaviors, often motivating them to seek consistency. So it's cognitive dissonance. This is the discomfort people feel when their actions are inconsistent with their beliefs or previous behaviors. We do seek consistency because we don't want to have this discomfort later on. And when individuals frequently vacillate, they may experience internal conflict and appear unreliable to others. So what are the practical implications for you? Number one, I don't like numbering. It's too much numbering is a problem. Let's just say practical implications are impact on relationships, effect on self-concept, and then strategies for overcoming vacillation. So impact on relationships, you know too well what that is. Vacillation erodes trust. Indecision, flip-flopping, whatever, erodes trust in personal and professional relationships, because others will perceive the indecisive person, vacillating person, as unreliable or lacking integrity. And the effect on self-concept, Frequent changes in decisions or beliefs can lead to internal confusion, and a fragmented sense of self makes it harder for individuals to develop confidence in their own judgment. So how can we overcome vacillation? Well, if your problem is 30 flavors of ice cream, then just limit your choices. Very easy, right? You're shopping for toothpaste, limit your choices. But I wish all of our problems were like this. I think you can develop routines or heuristics for common decisions. Heuristics are mental shortcuts. So if you know that your indecision is related to certain types of considerations, interpersonal relationships, closer relationships, professional, whatever it is, you can develop routines or mental shortcuts to help you there. And practice mindfulness. It's funny because it seems today that practice mindfulness is a solution to everything. But you could, I mean, you just sit with yourself and become more self-aware. That's all we're talking about. What are the underlying anxieties, emotions driving this indecisiveness? That is crucial. It's probably the most important thing. Reflect on core values to guide your consistent action. That's a really good one. Your core values. So if you feel like you're being too kind, what is that? We talked about being a people pleaser. Earlier video, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I think it's a great video, people pleasing. That was way back. Okay, I did a video on that, search for it. So if you're too kind, people pleasing, your first instinct is to say yes, is to overextend yourself. Then later on, you feel bad about that. That's what we're talking, this flip-flopping, waffling. Even if you ended up doing something for someone, but you feel bad about it later. So the decision itself, you didn't flip-flop or waffle, but internally, it's just all hell's breaking loose. Or you say yes to someone, and then later on, you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing too much, I'm too kind, or I'm overextending myself. And then you talk to them again, hey, I can't go, I can't do that. So that's the vacillation there. In the future, work with yourself so that when something happens, this opportunity, we're going to look at these challenges as opportunities. When it presents itself, say, hey, there's a good chance I'm going to feel bad about this later. I'm going to back out of it. Let me sit with these two right now, yes and no. And let me consider myself right now and how I'm going to be thinking and feeling an hour or a day or a week from now. We sit with both of these and try to come up with the mean, right? Aristotle, the mean, the center line, the midpoint, and do it. Force yourself to do that. You'll feel much better about it. That's a win. And you'll get stronger at this every single time. Willpower, it's like a muscle you can keep working on. So just really briefly, I want to touch on psychological reasons that help explain chronic vacillation. There's emotional reactivity, this 4. Emotional reactivity, neuroticism. That's what neuroticism is, okay? Emotional reactivity. Some people are naturally more emotionally reactive. They worry more. They imagine worst case scenarios. And that emotional noise makes decisions feel unstable. Today they're enthusiastic, tomorrow they're anxious. The internal storm in someone who's significantly emotional can shake even the most rational choice, right? It seems like the simplest choice can affect that. A lower self-concept clarity. So if you're not clear on who you are or what you really value, it's easy to drift. So you say yes to something because it sounds good in the moment, but you're not rooted in a deeper sense of purpose, of what it means to you, who you are. So you end up being pulled in different directions depending on who you're with or how you feel that day. Then we have something called controlled versus autonomous motivation. When your choices are shaped by what others think approval, other people's approval. Guilt, that's a big one. Pressure, so you're more likely to flip, right? You feel guilty about something, you're pressured into something, you make a decision or act, then later on you flip. When the feeling, sensation of guilt are gone or the pressures has subsided. But when you're, so we're talking about controlled versus autonomous motivation. So when your choices are shaped by what others think, social pressures is big here. And then conversely, when your motivation comes from within, because something truly matters to you, you're more likely to stay steady even when it gets hard. Remember a minute ago, we said, consider your values. I don't know how rare, if ever, it is for someone to sit and spend 10 minutes saying, hey, what are my values? And let me make a list of these values that I'm gonna uphold, I'm gonna live with. Not many of us do that. I think it'd be very, very helpful because it can guide our decision making. So being self-aware, mindful, values, working with your different states of mind, states of emotionality, trying to integrate the two so that when you have to act or decide, it's more balanced. That's where the real work is. I think in whatever is causing your indecisiveness, flip-flopping, vacillation, you do these things, you're gonna make progress. Fear of finality. Some people avoid decisions because they fear closing doors. Every commitment means that other options die or disappear. So they keep all their options open, not out of freedom, but out of fear. And that's a good point. And that fear is what creates indecision, second guessing, chronic reversals. So we fear the commitment because we want to keep all of our options open. We don't want all these options to die. Can you relate with that? If you're out there watching this and you can relate with this, please leave a comment. So what are our takeaways here from what we've been talking about? Notice the pattern. That is the first takeaway. Notice the pattern. If you're often saying one thing and doing another, start paying attention. Then second, ask where it's coming from. Ooh, that's great. And then finally, build your inner compass. So you could journal, you can go to therapy, you can read, you can have a spiritual practice. So if this resonated with you, this talk, please subscribe. Subscribe for more. And remember, consistency doesn't mean being inflexible. It means being guided by something deeper than the mood of the day.